everyone, today I'm going to do the A to Z book survey, which I first saw on Widdy's Novel channel, where she basically tagged everyone who wanted to do this tag. So I'm doing this tag, and this tag was first credited on a blog post, and I will link that blog post down below. So let's get started. A, an author that you read the most books from, so that we count. Surprise, surprise! The author I read the most books from is L.J. Smith. I read 22 of her books, 22 amazing books that I recommend every single one of them for you guys, so check that out if you haven't read any L.J. Smith books. So B, it's the best sequel ever, and I hope this isn't a surprise for you guys, but my best sequel ever has to be Catching Fire by Susan Collins. This was so much better than The Hunger Games. I loved what she did with The Hunger Games with this book. C, what you're currently reading. And what I'm currently reading is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I'm already around halfway through. About that way through the book. I love it so far, even though I saw this movie TV series, like mini TV series, where they spoiled me. Like, they told what happens at the end. I'm like, no, not everybody read Jane Eyre yet, like myself. D, drink of choice while reading. Now, for me, I can't concentrate both on eating or drinking while reading. Probably what will happen is I'll get the entire book, like, filled with crumbs and whatever I'm drinking. So if I actually do drink, then I usually drink something cold because it's either by the pool or on the beach. So it's probably like an iced latte or like a smoothie. E, e-reader or physical books? Physical books. Because physical books you can pet. So F is a fictional character that you probably would have dated in high school, and since I'm still in high school, I can only tell you what the kind of person I'll probably date is Lewis from Dark Visions by L.J. Smith. Lewis is kind of like the nerdy kind of guy in the group. You know, the smart, nerdy, sweet guy, which is probably what I would date, fall in love with right now. So, G, a book that you're glad you gave it another chance or a chance. And for me, funny story, I bought this book a year before the movie came out. And like basically 2 months before the movie came out, I eventually decided to give this book a chance and read it. And the first one was okay, and then I moved on and I figured out that I loved it. And that is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. People, if you're like me, you read City of Bones, you didn't quite like it. You read City of Ashes, and it was okay. Read, like, stick on till City of Glass, because that's epic. And then, like me, if you read City of Fallen Ages and you hated it, then I heard that you should stick on and keep on reading. I didn't keep on reading, but keep on reading. It's Cassandra Clare, it's good. H, a hidden gem book. And that for me has to be The Timekeeper by Mitch Albom. This took me one sitting, basically half an hour to read. Super short chapters and amazing story. Amazing characters, all the feels, you gotta read it. I, an important moment in your reading life, and that for me was going to the City of Bones premiere, and let me explain. I went with a group of my friends, and when we went to the City of Bones premiere, we were supposed to go see it in another city, and eventually on the last minute we had to cancel, and we were all pretty bummed. But we went to see it in our town. We saw the movie, and to my opinion and to the opinion of my friends, the movie sucked. And we kept making jokes about it throughout like the entire movie, and everyone around us heard us because we were laughing hysterically. We were making fun of the characters, we were making fun of like the actors and everything. And eventually, like, 2 people kept yelling at us the entire movie, but eventually 2 girls actually came up to us and they told us that we made them laugh the entire movie, and that, like, would we want to keep in touch, and we did. And 1 year later, and we became the best of friends, and that is seriously one of the best moments that started one of the most best friendships I have with 2 amazing girls. And yes, J is a book you just finished, and that's The Merciless by Daniel Vega. If you want to hear my thoughts on this book and how I really feel about this overly hyped, in my opinion, book, I'll link my wrap-up, my August wrap-up down below. It's around the end, so click 2 minutes before the end of the video if you just want to hear my opinions on this book. Hey, kind of books you won't read. Erotic. I will not ever read erotic books because, like, 50 Shades of Grey, I'm sorry, but that's kind of disrespectful for women in my opinion, and I'll never ever read that kind of book. Well, the longest book you read, and that for me is Inheritance, which is the 4th book in the Inheritance Circle by Christopher Paolini. Love the name. And yeah, this book is around 851 pages. Major book hangover that I had is over His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. I've read this book this book bind up of the series His Dark Materials 4 or 5 times already, and each time I get major book hangover and I cannot deal the feels. And the number of bookcases that you own, and I own around 2.5 bookcases. O is a book that you read multiple times, and for me, the book that I actually thought about it is the book that I read the most multiple times. I read the most. And for me, it's a tie between, what is this called again? The Lost Hero and The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. Blood of Olympus! I can't wait for Blood of Olympus. I need Blood of Olympus. I need it now! P, preferred place to read. And that for me is either on the couch, on the bed, or, no, not in the car, it's in the car, on a plane. I can read hella lot of books on the plane. Except like books that make me cry, because I'll be like, no, I don't want to cry, don't look at me. Yeah, that's me. If you see that girl's like, don't look at me, I'm reading. That's me on the Q. Quote that inspires you, and that is, after all this time, always. Do you hear that sound? That's the heart of my sound, breaking into a million pieces. R is a reading regret. Hello, Matched. Let's throw you out the window. Ouch. I regret ever laying eyes on those books. Actually, Matched was okay. If you ever want to take that epic, braveful, stupid mistake of taking one of those books, read Matched and leave it at that. Because Crossed was a waste of whatever amount of pages that was. It was so bad. Like, in my opinion, because I know that people do like Match, and Match actually is okay, it's just Crossed like this the entire series, so just read Match, don't read Crossed, and you'll be fine, S is a series that you started to read and didn't finish, and I have a couple. We have the Beautiful Creature series, we have the Mortal Instrument series. What else haven't I finished? The Vampire Diaries, but I already ranted about why I didn't finish that. She is 3 of your all-time favorite books, and I think that I already obsessed too much on my all-time favorite books, which is why I'm going to give you 3 favorite books from this year that I read so far. So sneak peek to the top 14. Are we doing it this year? Books of 2014. We have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstein. I don't know how you say her name. We have Siege by Sarah Mosley. I talked about this already. I think that it's best to go into this book expecting epicness and not knowing anything, because that's the best way to go into it. The Gospel of Lookie by Joanne M. Harris. This book is epicness. This book is perfection. It's like they took Lookie from the Marvel movies and gave him a journal of everything that happened from the beginning of existence, from the Norse mythology, and you get to read it, and it's epicness. And you know, if you love Lookie, if you like bad guys that you can't help falling in love, read this book. U is unapologetic fangirl for, yes, I have trouble saying that word, for Surprise, surprise. The Forbidden Game by L.J. Smith. I will never stop fangirling for you. Be very excited for this release. Blood of Olympus, Blood of Olympus. Come on already. Come on. Blood of Olympus. W, worst bookish habit. And that for me is that I have this really bad habit of not caring when I doggy ear the book. Let me give you an example. We got the Night Circus. And look, you see this on the sides? Everything is dog-eared from beautiful quotes because I did not have a sticky note and I did not have enough bookmarks to the amazing quotes. And I could not use this quote, so I had to put dog-ear. I had to dog-ear the pages, but it's okay. It's okay. You forgive me, I forgive me, the book forgives me. The author, of course, doesn't forgive me, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. X marks the spot. Choose the 27th book on your bookcase. Let's Forever by Maggie Stiefvater, and I have no idea how I'm going to get this out for you because there's a cup here. But yeah, Forever by Maggie Stiefvater is the third book in the Shiver trilogy, which is about werewolves. So if you like werewolves, like paranormal romance, give this a try. Your latest book purchase, I just did a haul, which was actually my first video. I'll link it down below for you guys. Please, Snatcher book, the last book that kept you awake at night to finish, which is also, usually, there's this, like, I read, and then it's like 2 a.m., and I fall asleep while reading. That's usually what happens to me. So, and because that used to happen a lot, and then I got like, I didn't get to sleep so well, I actually stopped reading at 9. So I think the last book, that was The Night Circus. Yeah. So that was the A to Z book survey. If you guys saw this tag, wanted this tag like me, feel free to do this tag. And yes, thank you for watching my video, and I'll have another video for you guys soon. Thank you.